Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome back to our new show, Unscripted on
America's Islamic Radio. First of all, happy holidays to all of you, and thank you for tuning in to our bonus episode.
My name is Hannah.
And I'm Maria.
And we have got some great content for you guys today.
Today's going to be a very sweet episode thanks to the holidays. So today we're going to be talking about interfaith and the importance of it. Hannah, what does Christmas mean to you?
So, Maria, I'm glad you asked. So Christmas is a holiday that Muslims do not necessarily celebrate, but being a Muslim American, because I did grow up here, I feel like I was always included in like the holiday cheer, if that makes sense. Like watching Christmas movies and like, you know,
Home Alone.
Yeah,
I love Rudolph. My mom would put sometimes she would put you know those things you put on the cars for decoration?
Oh, she put the
like
ears,
the Rudolph
the antlers.
ears? Yeah.
And then also because I work in an office where we decorate for Christmas and stuff like that.
Ugly sweater parties.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just, so I've been automatically integrated into this Christmas holiday, which I do not necessarily celebrate, but at the same time, it's like just a part of, I guess, where I live. You know, it's just like I'm just kind of in it because I grew up here. It's just been a part of my life for so long. So I guess that's what Christmas means to me.
I think the Christmas holidays, Hanukkah, New Year's, all of these are more than just religion. They're almost like the American culture. I think the holiday cheer, all the Netflix movies, everything fun that happens during the holidays is all something that everyone is allowed to celebrate and contribute to and enjoy and just be happy. And I don't know what it is, but I just get so happy during the holidays.
Yeah.
Everything is so pretty, it's snowing, everything's beautiful. And I think it's almost unjust to just prevent myself from enjoying those holidays just because my religion doesn't necessarily it's not that they don't even celebrate, it's just that it's not really part of my religion. So I always feel like it's gonna be very bad if I'm you know what, I'm not gonna take part in this free amazing joy that's just everywhere, you know?
Yeah, I think to go back to the question you asked me at the beginning, Christmas to me, now that I'm in college, means literally winter break for a month. That just means freedom for a month. But I also want to talk about, so even though Christmas isn't a part of being a Muslim, it's not a part of Islam, I do have friends that celebrate Christmas, you know, and it's part of, if not our religion, it's part of someone else's religion, right? Which we obviously have to respect because, yeah, Christmas may be about Christmas movies, hot chocolate, you know, just hanging out, winter break, whatever it is, Santa Claus. But it's also, when you think about it, the meaning behind Christmas is very special to those who celebrate it, right? Because there's obviously a reason why they do celebrate it. Hence, it's important to them. It's important to their families. You know, it's more to them. It's more than just watching Christmas movies and stuff like that. It's about spending time with your family. It's about rejoicing in your religion. You know, it's part of your identity. And so I guess with this topic of Christmas, we wanted to talk about the importance of interfaith.
Yes, I think every religion coming together to unite and ignoring their religious differences, but almost focusing on their human qualities that unite them, like humanity, love, family, affection, you know, world peace, world hunger, solving it, uniting on those issues which impact everyone as a human is just so utterly beautiful. I love going to Christmas parties, and I love when my non-Muslim friends come to our mosque and wear you know, the outfits we wear on Eid, and just uniting in joy. And I think that's what is the primary focus of interfaith. You know, and uniting on a different level than religion is what makes us all human, and it almost promotes the sense of unity and a need for solving issues, actually. When we divide religiously or for whatever other identity, I feel we prevent ourselves from solving some of the issues that we could solve if we did unite.
Yeah. And with interfaith, it's people willing. It's so beautiful when you think about it. It's people putting themselves out there to learn about someone else's religion. You know, to be exposed to this whole new chapter, you know, this whole new thing that they never really knew of before. But the will to understand someone else's religion is like a huge, I feel like it's a big thing, you know, and it means a lot to the person whose religion they're trying to understand.
Absolutely.
Like when people ask me about what it's like being a Muslim or what my religion's all about, like I get touched just like because they asked me, you know, like the fact that someone was willing to like take their time out and like just ask me, hey, like I was just curious about this, like can you explain it to me, you know, because you do have people on the opposite side of the spectrum where like they just believe what they see, you know, like they believe whatever is in the media, they believe whatever they hear from people who aren't necessarily representing Islam in the correct way, and they just go with it, you know, and then because that creates barriers, that creates differences between different religions, between just humans in general. So the fact that you're reaching out to me really, really means a lot, and you know, like it's, and I want to do the same to you, like I want to learn about other religions as well, because you want to make sure that as you go along, you don't disrespect anyone, right? Unknowingly, like just, and it's all because you just don't know, you're ignorant to the fact that, okay, this is what their religion says.
But also you want to learn it from them, not from the media, not from like some other dude who wrote about Islam who's not actually Muslim and they wrote a book on it and then now someone else is reading it and they're not really getting the full perspective or like the full understanding. My favorite part growing up, going to the masjid, was all the interfaith events because I feel like they created a dialogue where a lot of people were able to come voice what they think their religion is, and also how we can put some of the religious aspects aside and bring some social change. And I think every interfaith activity I went to, they usually had a purpose. Like it was like, let's try to unite and let's talk about how we can solve world hunger, as an example. And then they would all talk about how they individually in their groups, like for example, a priest would come and he would be like, hey, our church can raise, I don't know, they can raise like $200, and then the mosque would be like, you know what, our mosque can also raise $200. Let's all put our money together and like send it for like a world hunger cause in like I don't know, Nigeria. You know, so it almost like unified it, and it also like doubled the amount of impact they could do. Whereas like every individual mosque and every individual church, if they were just working separately on their own, they wouldn't be able to make that much of an impact. And I just love that. Like that was my favorite part, going to an interfaith, just seeing all the various different groups of people just like hugging each other, and they're like, oh my God, you're so pretty, I love your scarf, you know, and just like things like that.
And in our first episode, if you guys remember, we talked about unity. So again, like just willing to understand someone else's religion and uniting with people of different religions, you come together to solve, like you said, world hunger, for example, right? You come together to actually like solve huge issues that are going on all over the world, you know, because when you think about it, I feel like it's not easy for one group of people to do something on their own. Like you need someone else, right? Absolutely. You need someone with different perspectives, someone who knows other things that you don't necessarily know to help you, you know, like, because knowledge is so important, you know, and we don't know everything, you know, there's so much, like, we think we know a lot, but, like, there's so much out there we still don't know, and it's things that you can, like, simply learn from, like, someone standing right next to you who's non-Muslim, right? Like, you can learn so much from that one conversation you have with someone else. Right. And open-mindedness, I feel like, is super important, which a lot of people, I feel like, don't have. Like, there's so many people out there, so many people I've talked to that aren't open-minded. And I don't understand, like, why you'd be willing to close yourself off from, you know, like, the beauty that lies in, like, learning beyond, like, so much than you already know. You know, like, beyond everything you know, you have, like, this whole scope which you still have to learn about. You know, you still can learn. So the fact that you're closing your off, like, I don't understand that, because by being open-minded, you're like inviting other people into your life. You're inviting other ideas, other perspectives. You're learning from different people. And that gives you, because you have so much knowledge, that actually gives you, you know, I guess that kind of creates opinions that actually do make a difference. Does that make sense? What do you think? Like, what are your thoughts on open-mindedness?
So I feel So I think I actually watched this. It was like a talk show or something from the University of Congress, where a lot of people, they were Muslims. They came from various different backgrounds. Like one of them, she like her mom was from Vancouver, and like the other, her dad was from Iran, something crazy like that. A lot of people, they came and they shared their individual experiences growing up as Americans, but having that background. Some of them were refugees who got adopted by American families in the United States. So their experiences were obviously crazy because they had this very cultural, entirely different non-American system in their minds prior to like being adopted at the age of 9 or 10, and then all of a sudden they're being adopted by an American family who has like their experiences which are entirely different, and how like they both assimilated to each other was crazy. So I think when you have an open mind, you are inviting, as you said, like inviting different experiences and different culture and like different food, which is the best part.
Yeah, love food.
Yeah, and like you're inviting a lot of this different culture into yourself, and what that does, it makes you a more well-rounded person because you understand more history, more like dynamics, and how like different cultures work and how different people work. When you are open-minded, you probably understand why, like when you go to a grocery store and like, what am I trying to say? Yeah, like basically you'll understand why people do the different things that they do, so you can work better with each other. So I think like interfaith opens up that dialogue. Like it's a platform where people can share their experiences in an open setting, which I think is amazing because it's a platform. It's like we have this platform to share with you guys. Me talking to just one person on the street is kind of difficult to get my message across to 1,000 people, but when you unite and like build a platform, it sort of gives you an opportunity.
Yeah, and when you close yourself off from these ideas, you're not just closing yourself off, but you're just nurturing the hatred that you may feel towards that group of people.
Absolutely.
So by not like putting yourself out there to learn what the truth is. If does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like you're putting yourself out there to learn the truth, but also to kind of like break down the preconceived notions you had, which may have caused these feelings of anger, hatred, resentment towards another group of people. And reality is that in a religion, there are people that are good, but there also can be people that are bad. But that doesn't define, but why is it that we, as a society, why is it that in a community in America, right, we tend to associate the extremists as the main, like, as the leaders of their religion? Does that make sense? Like,
that's weird.
Do we put, like, the face of hatred as the face of that whole religion? We kind of stamp that religion with bad.
You know why? I think I know why this happens. It's because their experiences are, like, broadcasted to the world through social media. And, like, the individual experiences, like, for example, your experiences growing up, how you loved Christmas growing up, and, like, how you went Black Friday shopping, and that's how you celebrated, I don't know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, those small, joyous experiences that made you seem a lot like a normal American kid are not really understood. Because you're just one small person who didn't, like, make a huge change in the world, so no one thought you were worthy enough to understand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's sad, like, just stamping a whole religion, like our religion, for example, like being a Muslim is apparently not a good thing to other people. Like, it's sad to know, it's like to see that other people hate on my religion, hate on me because of someone who was not in the right mind, went out there and like killed.
And got lucky enough to get all the attention.
Yeah.
When there are Muslim people who have made great changes.
Yeah. Yeah, there are so many Muslims doing great things out in the world, but the media tends to focus only on the negative aspect of it. The people, their stories are just remain like down there, on the DL, like no one cares.
Right. I wouldn't even argue the people who are killing other people, who do make it in the media, they aren't even an aspect of Islam. Like, I would argue they're not even part of Islam. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should not even be characterized as Muslim, because that is not at all what Islam is. So I do not understand why you're being called Muslim at this point. You know what I'm saying?
And in the Quran, like, Allah literally, like, he says to create bonds with your, like, brothers and sisters from other religions. In no, like, verse, no page of the Quran does it say anything about going out there and killing other people of other religions. Why? Because, and just because they're part of other religions. There's nowhere that it says that. In no way does he encourage in any, you know, way, any form, whatever it is, in any scriptures. But people, I feel like it's a personal vendetta people have against other people. Like, that's what, it's a vendetta people have against other people, which causes them to go out and do these things. Obviously, there are many other reasons, but I feel like that's one of the most important ones. And unfortunately, those people are associated with this religion, with Islam, which is why they're labeled as, which is why Islam is labeled as, like, a terrorist, you know, a terrorist religion. Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but, like, the ways we can make that better is interfaith. Yeah, like interfaith.
Understanding the individual experiences of the Muslim community and the Christian community and, like, every community, the Jewish community, is what will, when you see something bad on the news, like, I don't know, some guy who is Muslim went and killed 20 people, the other religions will be like, no, I go to interfaith. They're not like that. I don't know who this guy is. He's crazy. Yeah. He's just, you know, for some reason ruining the name of the religion. I know Muslim people. They're not like this. You know?
And it's amazing to see that, like, as we speak, like, there are people out there that are doing that, that are, like, uniting with their, other Jewish, Christian brothers and sisters and doing stuff like that. Like,
having vigils, like,
I was just about to talk about that. At Stony Brook, when the New Zealand attacks happened, there was a vigil held for the Muslims, the victims of New Zealand. And then there was also, then after that, the synagogue attack happened. Right. And then Muslims came out and stood with their Jewish, you know, brothers and sisters. And they were offering, you know, like, their services, offering prayers and stuff like that.
And I saw this news article about, like, how in India there's a lot of Muslim killings nowadays. And there was, like, a group of Hindu people who, like, held, like, their arms together and formed, like, a human barrier so that the Muslims can pray and no one would hurt them. Yeah. That was so beautiful. That made me cry.
Yeah, and then there was also, like, that story of the soccer player who, she wears hijab, and then, like, her hijab apparently, like, slipped off or something like that. And members from the team came and, like, started, like, forming a circle around her so that like, she would be protected. Yeah, so that she could, like, fix herself before going back into the game. So there are good people out there. There are people willing to understand other people's perspectives, other people's religions. Why? Because they want to make the world, in a nutshell, a better place.
And one of the best examples of interfaith is right here in America's Islamic Radio. Our 3 owners of America's Islamic Radio are all of different religions.
Yeah.
And they're working for America's Islamic, like, they made America's Islamic Radio because they thought it was important to showcase the individualities of Muslims.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Exactly.
And now we have this.
Yeah, and here we are. Because of them, we're here to give you guys this message, talk to you guys about the importance of interfaith. Because they're an example of that. You know, and, like, it's these examples that we want to show the world, because it is possible, you know, and obviously there is I understand that there's a sense of fear even in approaching other people. Like, do you understand, like, what I mean?
Being Muslim, you don't know how they will react.
You don't know how they react. Yes. Yeah, you don't know what they'll think of you. But, like, as long as you're being genuine, you're being honest with your intentions, I would leave the rest to God.
Yeah, and I think 9 out of 10 times it works out great. 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Every interfaith example we have seen has just led to more love and unity against hate. And what else could you want?
Yeah. And people are genuinely interested in, like, helping other people of different faiths.
Yeah. I think everyone, at least in America, what I have noticed is, for the most part, throughout my life, I've only met with people who are open-minded, loving, and genuinely want to understand. And that has made me feel so entirely loved.
Yeah.
You know?
And I live in a community, like, where I live, there aren't that many Muslims, I feel like. But there are still, like, quite a lot of Muslims. But the importance of it is that, like, I feel like the Muslims and the non-Muslims in my community get along pretty well for the most part. Like, I know at, like, in schools and stuff like that, you know, Muslim kids, they get along very well with their teachers. And, like, non-Muslim parents getting along with Muslim parents. Absolutely. It's a real deal. It's a real thing that happens.
And that comes from understanding each other, because it is through unity that we can unite against hate.
Yeah, and it's all about relatability. Like, start off by just creating that connection with them and go from there.
Because your first identity is human or dog. We love both.
No discrimination against anyone.
Yeah. So I want to thank you all again, and happy holidays.
Yeah, thank you again for tuning in. Please continue to support us. We really appreciate all the support. And have a great...
Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And again, let us know how you thought this episode was and what you want to see from us going forward.
Have a great holiday, everyone. Take care. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.